Hi everybody, Alex Deploy here, and today I'm going to be giving you an introduction to the MetaTrader strategy tester. And it really is the key to making lots of money if you're trading robots. Now this section is part of the course where we teach you how to test your robot, optimize your robot, and forward test your robot. And as you can see there, introduction to MT for a strategy tester is an item under testing your robot, and I'm going to be focusing on the testing elements today. Okay, so the first question could be, where do I find the strategy tester? And you find it by going to your MT4 platform, clicking on view, and there it is. And when you click on that, what you see below here will appear. So I'm going to actually unclick it. There it goes away, and click it, and this is the strategy tester. Now you can test expert advisors and indicators when using this tester, but essentially it is a tool that will allow you to simulate trading based on the past history of an instrument or currency. I'll just go through the settings one by one. But before that, I think I should show you that all this information that I'm going to be giving you is actually already available in the help section. We're just going to click on help. You go into help topics, and you might find the client terminal folded up, but you unfold it, and then you go into this section, your strategy testing. And that's exactly the topic of this particular section. And you can then go in, and there is a whole lot of information available on testing, which I'm basically going to be telling you, but you can go and read about it. And then there's a section on how to interpret the results of your testing. Fantastic information that very few people know about, but it isn't actually a course on how to test your data. There's also an optimization course in here, setup and results, so we'll be moving on to that in the course of this course. Okay, so let's have a look at the strategy tester. First of all, you have to have an instrument that you're testing, and in my particular case, I'm testing a EA that's under development, so it's not a purchasable EA at the moment, but it's under development. And that I've used this particularly because this is what I do, is I actually test those instruments before we go into other activities. So I've loaded the maximum lot EA there. You can load whichever EA you have purchased. Make sure that when you load it in, that you have licensed the EA and that it is tradable, because it might not appear in this list of EAs that you could possibly test. So as you saw there, there's a whole lot of EAs on this particular platform, and I could go and choose each one, whichever one I like to test. Then the symbol, and it will, and you can choose again from a drop-down menu any symbols that you want to test. If your symbol that you'd want to test is not there, what you do is you go into your market watch and you click on symbol, you say symbols, and then you just activate. You go and find and activate the symbol that's missing. So for instance here, let's say you wanted to test the pound New Zealand. You see it's grayed out, it's not available yet, so you click on it and you then say show, and you can close then, and then it will appear in your list of instruments. If it doesn't appear in this list of instruments, then what you need to do is reboot your platform. In other words, just close it and open it again, and it will appear in that list of instruments. The same applies to your expert advisor. If it's not in the list, although you've loaded it up, you might have to reboot your platform and then it will appear. It has to update that way. All right, then we have models of testing, and there are 3 models of testing. I am covering this in a completely separate video and discussion area. All you need to know at the moment, every tick is the most accurate, control points is very crude, and open prices are fast. but not that accurate. So that every tick is the most accurate. Then you can choose which dates you want to use. So you click on there and you choose which dates. And I've in this particular case, I'm testing the maximum lot from the 1st of July to the 20th of February, which is a very special date. If you look at the 20220220 date, very special date. And I will show you visual mode later on. You can also see the trading in visual mode, but those are the things that you fill in. Now, just in terms of the dates, you have to ensure that you have enough data to cover those particular dates. That again is covered in another video that I will make regarding data. The data quality is important and the quantity is very important. So you need to make sure that you have enough data. Make sure that you have quality historical data to test that particular period. Okay, so let's move to the other side. So then it's asking you what spread, and the confusing side here is that spread is actually in points and not in pips. So when you see 10 points, it actually means 1 pip. And then it asks you which time frame are you going to be testing on. This particular one I'm running on a 15-minute time frame, but obviously you can choose any time frame. Just going back to spreads, please do not use current. It is very problematic, especially over weekends. Do never use current over weekends. Impose the spread and you will get much more accurate information. Those two blocks, don't worry about them. They are explained in our data video that you can go and have a look at, and you don't have to worry about this. But the reason those are there is because I'm using very high quality data, and I'm saying please use this high quality tick data, and there are the settings. You can see I've got really good quality data from on the pound. Okay, so then you'll see there's an optimization block. We're not going to be talking about that because we're testing, we're not optimizing today. So when you want to optimize, you can actually click there, but it's beyond today's scope. Open chart. After you've run your test, you can actually open a chart to see the trades on an actual chart. We'll see that. Symbol properties, you can have a look at. There I've clicked on it, and it tells you all about the settings this particular broker has for the pound. And then expert properties. Now that is where all the settings are, and I'm going to open that up. And there you are. So there are the settings that you will need to enter. Now you can actually enter them manually, or you sometimes settings are supplied in set files. I've got a video that explains how set files work, and you can just load the set file. Like for instance, I made a set file of this one. I would load it in like that, open it up, and it would load the settings into this value column. Don't worry about this. This will be explained in the future. This is used for optimization. When we are testing, we only are worried about the value column. So when you have when you have an EA, and when you're testing, you're only testing one set of settings in one go, and you would enter the relevant values either supplied to you either from another trader or ones that you come up by yourself using your trading experience. Okay, we're almost ready to test now. The other area that we need to go to is the inputs tab. I'm going to go to the testing tab, and I'm going to say to this the test, I only want to use, let's say, $10,000 as my testing amount. And you should always test long and short. So those are the only other settings you need to pay attention to. So that's on the settings tab and on the inputs tab. When testing, try and use a large amount because you just want to get the EA rolling. You don't want to refine it too much. At a later stage, we'll refine that amount down to maybe a balance that you will be trading in your live account. So at first, you just want to get a good feel of the EA. So 10,000 is a good starting point. So now that we're ready, let's click on OK. So essentially, after you've entered all the items that I've just shown you, you are ready to run a test run. And a test run is very easy. All you do is you click on Start, and it will start running a test run for you. So that is what I'm going to do. And there the test run goes. Sometimes it goes and collects and creates a historical file, and then it starts running the settings for you over that period that you stipulated. So it's basically going to be trading 6.5 months in the space of a few seconds. And why it's so slow is because I'm using the every tick method. Okay, there, it's complete now. When it's complete, you will notice that some tabs are now on display. A results tab, a graph tab, a report tab, and a journal tab. And I'm going to go through those tabs one by one. Okay, so let's have a look at these tabs that are here. And I'm going to start with the report tab. And the report tab will show you the results of your test. So in other words, what it's saying, you've started with $10,000, you've made a profit of $10,900. In other words, it's doubled the money over those 6.5 months or 7.5 months. So really, that's not a bad result. And I'm not going to go through all the items on this one. We'll cover that in a little bit more detail. This is just an introduction, but it shows you that you get, that's where you get your result. It tells you how many trades there are. It tells you what the success rate is. It tells you how much you make on your winning trades and how much you lose on your losing trades, and that kind of information. Very important information, but that's what you get when you testing. Now, if you don't get a really nice result, it's not the end of the world. Remember, this is the kickoff point for testing, optimizing, and then forward testing. So I'll show you ways of getting nice positive amounts during your testing or optimization. Okay, so that's number one. So you get a report that gives you all that kind of information. Also, it tells you the quality of your data. That green line is really good. It's quality data. There have been no mismatched errors. There have been a lot of bars tested, and there's been a lot of tick data used in the running of this test. You can see there's much more tick data than there are bars in this test. Okay, so that's the report. Then it gives you a graph of your equity and your account balance. In this case, they're the same thing. And here you can see how the profits built up over the period of the actual test. Not a very smooth one, but it has gone up nicely. So quite happy with these results. Then what it also gives you are the results, which is actually a printout of your trading statement. So it started on the 1st of July last year. The balance was 10,000, and there are the transactions that came through: positive, negative, positive, and so on. You can then see your positive and your negative trades. You can see the position sizing that was used and all that type of thing, and it displays the whole account to you. If you want to, you can download, you can save this as a report and then download it, or you could actually copy all this information. You say copy all, and you can download it into Excel. So it's pretty good. It's pretty handy to do that, because some people like analyzing their results in Excel. Then the last item that's on these labels is the journal. Now the journal is where you get a list of all the activities that's happened during the testing process, and it will also list errors that have occurred. Now in this case, I don't think there are any errors, but they will normally be displayed as red, so they're very quick to see. In the beginning, you might find some errors and you might have to read through the setup of your EA in the journal. So this is the journal that will tell you, and this is also covered elsewhere in the course, where you can come and have a look and for errors that might be causing you not to test properly. Important that you know about this journal, and if you do run into problems, people like EA Factory could help you with technical problems testing. I also have a whole section. There's a checklist of 19 items that you need to go through to make sure that you won't run into errors in this particular area. That is also covered in another section of the course. Okay, so that really covers the settings, the results, the graph, the report, and the journal sections. And the only thing that's left here, which I haven't shown you, is the visual mode. So when you're testing an EA, you want to actually see how it trades. So by clicking on visual mode, and this particular control allows the speed at which you will be testing. I'm just going to put it 1 off the fastest speed, and I'm just going to run a test, and I'll make the graph the chart a little bit bigger so that we can see it, and I'm going to run a test. So you can run your test and get the results, and then what I then like doing is looking at the trading in a visual mode. Now the visual mode is very handy if you want to understand how the EA works. And there it's off. It started a sell. I know the logic of this EA, but it's important that you understand the logic of the EA that you're testing, and then you can follow whether the EA is in fact trading correctly. Now I'm just going to increase the speed 1, and you can see how much it's increased, and it will trade and trade like that. And if you want to make it clearer, you can get rid of the grid. That always makes it a lot clearer. If you want to make it bigger, you increase it like that. If you want to make it smaller, you do that type of thing. So this allows you to view the trades as they're happening. There's the sell is still active. It hasn't done anything else. And there's the stop loss. So you've got your take profit, your stop loss, and so on. If you want to hide this, you just move it to the side there, and then you can see the trading. So as I say, this is just an introduction to the strategy tester. It's a wonderful tool. Go and test it. Go and take any EA, put it on here, put any settings in, and just go around and play with this tester. It is the tool that is going to make you a very successful robot trader. Because when we come to optimization, I'm going to show you a few tricks on how to get the very best settings. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video on getting the best out of your trading robot, and please watch out for future videos on testing, optimizing, and forward testing your robot.